Pleasure, Jojo. I'm just making you a host.
Have a good day.
You too.
Hi, good morning.
Okay, good morning. Good morning. Welcome again, Rebbetzin Silber. It is just wonderful. I can't believe it that where we are. It's something like taking break time. So we're all going to take this in beautifully today and help us to continue to nurture ourselves for the next few weeks. And we will await you letting us know when you're able to join us again on a Thursday morning.
Okay.
And that color is very, very beautiful on you. Very beautiful.
Thank you. It's a good color.
So I just wanted to just quickly, I sent you some messages, but also we have Marcel Kaufman here, and it is her father's first yahrzeit. So the share will be La Ilunish Marcel. And we have his name and everything up, and we will continue posting it because I know a lot of people have got different things on today, so it will be posted and recordings continue to go around. So thank you, and let's just take it all in.
And we are also saying what you posted to me. Are we talking about that? No?
Well, not with an English name, just with the name to wish Refuah Shalema. Yes, please.
I have in mind Refuah Shalema for Hinda Bas Minna.
That's it.
And anyone else who needs your full shlema. And Rochel, your father should have Aliyas Neshama. Lahavdil, your father should have an Aliyas Neshama. Thank you always for them beautiful notes that you send me. I really appreciate them. You don't realize how much I also appreciate those. So thank you. I guess your father taught you he taught you correctly how to be a real mensch, right? So he gets his chus every time you do something that's of the type that he taught you. He goes higher and higher and higher, and he sends you love and love and love. Okay, so we're going to continue.
Can I just quickly, I forgot there was one thing I wanted to say, that Marcel's father was the very first seed partner together with Rabbi Brody, right? And such an amazing thing. So it's really quite amazing how Marcel and I, we're going to meet one day soon for coffee, but all our different connections, and we've got Marcel doing some work for a Tasa Mishpacha pamphlet, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu just moves us all around and says, look, you really are connected even when you didn't know.
Wow, look at that. I love those kinds of stories, I love those kinds of stories. Okay, so I'll tell you, I just heard two stories from Milo Freedom, and I'll tell you one of them. One was just to show the hashgacha. And so he said that there was a shadchan once made a shidduch between a girl and a guy. It didn't work out. It was almost going to work out. The last minute, the boy's family backed out. And the girl eventually got married, and about a year and a half later, she got married, and about a year and a half later, the shadchan calls the girl's father and says, listen, I need to ask, the family of the boy wants to ask mechila, wants to ask forgiveness because their son who never didn't get engaged yet. Your daughter's already moved on and she got engaged, but their son who said no to the shidduch didn't get engaged, and they're afraid that maybe you were upset with them, so please forgive them. So the man said, I have nothing to be upset about. My daughter got engaged right away. She's very happily married. And the shadchan said, still, they feel that they need your forgiveness. So he went home. So he said, I meichel them. And then the shadchan said, no, but I need your wife to be meichel and to forgive, and your daughter to forgive. So the man went home to his wife and daughter and said the story that I met the shadchan from that last year and a half, and the boy never got engaged yet, and they're afraid that we're insulted, and so officially say you forgive them. So the wife said, I forgive them. And the daughter said, I forgive them, no problem, no hard feelings. Nobody wants a shidduch to work out when it's not supposed to work out. And then the father remembered, just as this daughter said, I forgive, the father remembered something that he had learned, and he said, if you meichel somebody, if you forgive somebody, then it's a very opportune moment for you to daven. So daven for something, whatever your heart's desire is. So the girl actually davened for one of her husband's aunts to get married. He had an aunt who was 31 years old, oy vey vey, such an old age. So the girl davened for the aunt to get engaged. And sure enough, a few days later, she became a Kala. Anyway, that was that story. So a few weeks later, the father of this story was walking in the streets here in Yerushalayim, and he meets the shadchan. And he says to the shadchan, "Oh, I forgot to tell you that my wife and daughter officially forgave the chassan, the boy." So the shadchan says, "You don't have to tell me. I know, because 2 days after I spoke to you, he became engaged. And I made the shidduch. So I know that you didn't have to call me, because I knew that's." So you know, if you forgive somebody, if sometimes it pays to have somebody annoyed with you, and you're right, and then you forgive them, and then you have like a blank check. You ask Hashem for whatever you want. Okay, so we're going to continue with Lamed Daled 34. But while you're getting it to Tehillim, open to Lamed Daled, I want to tell you another teaching, also from a Malach Bidin, that's connected to our Tehillim, and that's connected to all of you ladies, connected to all of us, all of us. So in our parsha, it talks about that Hashem said to Moshe Rabbeinu that the Jewish people had to take revenge from the Midianites. The Midianites were a very immoral nation, and they sent women to try to entice the Jewish men. And some of these women were successful, and it was a terrible, terrible thing. So Midian, who did such an immoral way of doing war, if you do war, guns and whatever, but that expression, all is fair in love and war, is such a lie, because you don't do things like this. Anyway, Hashem said, take revenge of the Midian, go to war with the Midianites, and take 1,000 people from each tribe, make an army of 12,000, and go and take them out. So the pasuk says, Elef lamateh, 1,000 for each tribe, 1,000 for each tribe. So the Medrash tells us that now you see how to learn Chumash, you can't just read the English. To learn Torah shebichtav, you need Torah sheba'al peh. Again, to learn Torah shebichtav, you need Torah sheba'al peh, because the Chumash says, Elef lamateh, 1,000 per tribe, 1,000 per tribe. The Medrash says that makes 2,000. So even though the Torah says 12,000, it was really 24,000. So what's going on here? So the Medrash says, for every single soldier that went out to fight, another Jew from his tribe had to go with him to daven for him. So on the battlefield, there were 12,000 soldiers fighting, and in the gallery, in the audience, were 12,000 Jews davening. Each person knew who was his pair. He knew, I'm davening for you, I'm davening for you. That's what the Medrash says. So the question is asked, the commentaries ask the following question. First of all, God commanded this war. They knew they were going to win. So what are they davening about? That's number one. Number two, why do you need 1,000 men to daven per tribe? Why do you need 1 for 1? Take a minion of tzaddikim. Like remember when Moshe Rabbeinu was davening for the whole Jewish people when Yoshua went to get Amalek. So get a minion. And what do you have to go to the battlefield? Get a minion, go to a holy place, go to shul, go to the Ohel Moed, and daven there. So these questions were asked by Reb Chatzkel Levenstein. And he answered such an offense. It's so important what he said. He said like this: of course they were going to win the war, for sure. Why? Because God said, go after them. And he chose the strongest, most righteous for each tribe. Whoever volunteered had to go. It wasn't about can you shoot straight. It was about how righteous are you? So, but he said like this: the nature of people, it's very hard for us to separate our body and our soul. We're a body that wears a soul. No, wrong. We're a soul that's wearing a body. It's very hard for us to disconnect totally from this world of physicality. Kolzman, as long as we're in this world of physicality, especially we as women, we relate to it. We relate to the physical world. And even though we know that everything's from Hashem, Nevertheless, it's hard to, when you see, so he said like this, when you're in battle, okay, women don't go to battle, Baruch Hashem, but when the men are in battle and they see that they're winning, every time a guy picks up a sword, he kills a Midianite, he sees it, he's being victorious. And they knew they would be victorious because Hashem commanded them. So it's very hard to remember that you are absolutely doing nothing. You're just doing the hishtadlus. You're just doing the effort that Hashem said you have to do. Hashem wasn't going to make miracles for Midian. Hashem was going to make a regular war. And so you got to go out and fight. But don't think that you're accomplishing anything. Instead, each fighter had to have a guy davening for him to remember that it's not me. It's the guy davening for me who is bringing down the shefa to make me victorious. And that's why the daveners had to be on the field also. They had to be in the battlefield so that the warriors should look back and say, uh-oh, the daveners are here. That means it's, to help them focus on, this is from Hashem, everything is from Hashem, and I'm just playing in the world of action, but really Hashem is doing everything. So that's such a powerful statement of stop looking at the hammer and look at the one who's wielding the hammer. Stop looking at people and remember Hashem is behind everything. And it's really, really hard. It's hard to, when you're involved with people, and we're supposed to be involved with people. Jews are not allowed to live alone. We're not supposed to be on a mountaintop, sitting and meditating we need a minyan, we need a mikveh, we need kosher slaughter, we need a shochet, we need each other. We can't live in an isolated, we can't live isolated. If any of you are living isolated, you gotta move here to Eretz Yisrael. So we have to interact with people. And whenever we interact with people, there are some people, most of us are here. I'm gonna give you a heads up. Most of us are here to make amends to the people in our lives who give us the hardest time. The people in our life that are easy to get along with, that's a gift. It's like candy Hashem gave us. But the people that are in our life that are the hardest to get along with, we all came back together and it was a package deal. They came back, we came back, we have to butt heads and we have to somehow make it work. And so, and everyone again, in the way that they have to do that. It's not like a blanket statement of everybody has to, you know what I mean? You don't have to, look for enemies, and you don't have to move next door to someone that you really don't like and get along with, etc. But know that we have interactions one with the other. And it's Hashem. It's Hashem who is somehow trying to teach us a lesson. So one of my teachers, one of my old Rebbetzin, she's a very precious person. She said 90%, this is her words, and I repeat it all the time, 90% of fixing something is proper diagnosis. 90% of any improvement is understanding what the situation is. So 90% of feeling relief and getting direction in anything in life is just saying, this is a test. To remember to say those words. This is a test. This is from Hashem. It's not about the person. The person's being used by Hashem in circumstances that will annoy me the most, or that will press all of the buttons, but it's from Hashem. If we can go to that place of this is a test, and then right away try to turn to Hashem and say, please Hashem, what do you want from me and how can I do it best, and etc. If we can, the more we can do that, the easier it is to navigate these tests. And so Rabbi Nachman from Breslov taught that there are many different ways to say Tehillim. And I remember learning this with you a long time ago. Baruch Hashem, we're learning almost a year. I have to look and see. What? That's amazing. It's you have a kviyas. A kviyas means you have packed into your calendar, written, you have it in your calendar, Thursday's Tehillim. And could you imagine if one day, Be'ezrat Hashem, we can never make a siyum on Tehillim, because you know how it is. When we say Tehillim, we start right away. It's not like the men. The men today are making a siyum on Yuma, on their Daf Yomi today. And then they're going to go to the next Masechta. Sukkah, and then they're going to the next, Rosh Hashanah. Good. We just keep doing over and over again Tehillim. As by the way, for those of you who say Tehillim regularly, you know that when you go to the end, you say right away the first 3 psukim of Parak Aleph, right away. Before you say the Rebbetzin, you say it right away to start again. So, but we know, so we're learning Tehillim a long time, and I think I remember learning this with you a while ago. Rabbi Nachman from Breslov used to say a whole Sefer Tehillim. You could say the whole Sefer Tehillim in categories. So, for example, if you wanted to work on bitachon, trusting God, then he would just flip through the Tehillim. He would just open the first page and just say the psukim, that have the word trust, bitachon, any conjugate of the word bitach b'Hashem, bitchu b'Hashem, any of those words, he flipped through and he would skip everything, just pick out psukim. So you could say the whole Sefer Tehillim in the area of bitachon, a half hour, because it'll take you a while till you flip the pages. Thank you. Bless you too. I know you also bless you. Bless you too. We should all be blessed and be healthy. Gesund. So, so we can say to whatever you need. You need, let's say, simcha. Then today's my simcha. I have a big simcha today. I have a grandson, Simcha, and today's his bar mitzvah, his bo bayom. Mazel tov, mazel tov. He should bless me. He should be a sham. He should be a talmid chacham, an erlich yid. And we should all have nachas from all of our children, all my grandchildren, all of your grandchildren and grandchildren. Dori is forever and ever. They should all live to see Mashiach Tzidkenu. We should all meet in the Beis Hamikdash, all of our descendants, and Be'ezrat Hashem. So, Simcha Daniel Ben Rochel, that's his name, his sweetie pie. And Gingy, he's a David HaMelech. He's very connected to David HaMelech. So, amen, thank you. So, whatever you need simcha, flip through the pages, just pick up psukim. You could actually, if you really want to do if you really want to make a project out of this, you could do what the Chida did. The Chida Kadosh, what did he do? Thank you, Mazel Tov. Mazel to everybody. I also like this method. So the Chida, what did he do? He rewrote the whole Tehillim, but he wrote it in alphabetical order. When he did that, he showed us we're allowed to do that. You could rewrite Tehillim. In other words, take out your favorite psukim in categories, and then write them down or print them out. Of course, it's not gonna. Of course, Sefer Tehillim as David HaMelech wrote it. That's the best. But whenever you need a shortcut method, you need to say quick. Then give yourself a project of writing down all the psukim that you relate to that talk about trust, that talk about faith, that talk about love, that talk about shalom, that talk about parnasa, whatever you need, that talk about health. David Melch wrote prakim about when he wasn't feeling well. He wrote a whole prakim of he says he's schwitzing all night long. He's drenching his pillow from the sweat. Check out whatever you need. You want to here, lichu vanim shimudi. You want to talk about your kids? Here we have the pasuk in Lamed Dalet, Parak Lamed Dalet, pasuk Yudbeis. Lichu vanim shimudi. Listen, kids, listen to me. Are your kids not listening to you? Say this pasuk. Make yourself your own little and don't make it giant. Make it workable so that you have your handy to go to whatever you need. I'm going to tell you something else that's also wild to do. You could also make up Tehillim based on the first letters of psukim of your names of the people in your family, of the people that you want to daven for. Go through Tehillim. You could. And find psukim that begin with the first letter of their name. If you get a really strong one, you have the last letter of the name also, right? In other words, you have your name the way you do in the Shemona Esrei at the very end. Tehillim is so much potential. Okay, so let's look inside now. We're going to, we already did up until, I skipped around a little bit. We talked about that Lamed Dalet is in alphabetical order. And we jumped to the Don't Say Lashon Hara, Psukim. And by the way, Rabbi Kessin gave another shir, and he said, Rebecca's working on artworks for Tehillim. Whoa. There's a Tehillim There's a Tehillim museum here in Eretz Yisrael, in Yerushalayim, Yer Kodesh. I actually have prints on my wall. I can't show you because I don't want to start toppling the computer. But years, and this goes back, I don't know, when this artist first began to draw pictures of Tehillim, he was a Chabad, I think. He's not, I don't think he's with us anymore. He's drawing for Hashem up in Shamayim. But I have some of his prints. I remember I got them for peanuts. Now they're worth, I mean, I just have the prints, but so yeah, it's beautiful to draw. If you're an artist, draw pictures of Tehillim. If you want to make up songs, right, any of you are musicians, you could, if Yehuda is on, she graced us the other day with some music. You can make up whatever. You take Tehillim. Listen, Tehillim is the book of David HaMelech. David is Melech Mashiach. We're doubting for Mashiach every second, right? So here we have his works. Okay, we're going to start by Ted Zion. Oh yeah, I was saying that Rabbi Kessin he said it again. Shmiras HaLashon. He explained it Kabbalistically in a very amazing way. Maybe I'll go into it at the end. Okay, here he says, Einei Hashem al tzadikim v'oznav el shavas. Now we're going to go. We talked about that if you use your mouth correctly, then all of your body parts get elevated and get maximized, right? Your eyes, your ears, your face, your butt, your torso, right? Everything. So here, and we said that the psukim don't say you're gonna, that if you keep your mouth pure, then your eyes will be pure and your ears will be pure. No, it just mentions these body parts, mentions it. So, Einei Hashem al tzadikim. Hashem's eyes are focused on the tzadikim. And guess what? That means us. Why? You're saying every week in Pirkei Avos on Shabbos, the Amech Kulam Tzadikim. All of us actually are in the category of tzadikim. It's going to sound so, maybe you don't think you're a tzaddik, it's tzadekes. You don't, you'll say everybody else is tzadekes but me. That's what we usually do. We're very tough on ourselves. But the pasuk in Yeshaya says, the Amech Kulam Tzadikim. Every one of us is on the level of tzaddik relative to the rest of the world. Relative to the rest of the world. And now it's even clearer than ever before. So anyway, Hashem is always looking at us. That's why you can always turn to Hashem. You can always talk to him because he's looking at you. It's not like you have to dial in, dial up, or you have to connect with a link or no, Hashem is like, you just every second we can talk to Hashem. Hashem is always listening for us to cry out to him, to ask him. He's always listening. You know how it is once you have a baby, you never, you never sleep completely. You haven't. Every woman knows this. If you've been privileged to have children, you know that because when the children are in the house with you, then your physical ears, you don't sleep. You sleep with one ear is always open, one eye is always open to make sure everything's okay. And then when the children leave the house, you don't sleep at all because you're worrying about them. Where are they? What are they doing? And so Hashem is always listening, and he's always looking at us. He's always listening for us. He wants us to talk to him. Listen, Chevra, I want to tell you something. I'm talking to me much more than I'm talking to you because I know you talk to me, you tell me you talk to Hashem all the time. We all have to, all the time. And that's what messes us up is when we forget that everything's Hashem, and we go into the world of Teva. We go into the world of nature. We go into the world of, he said it, I have to do this. She said, she didn't say it. Right? When we forget, we have to say, stop, Hashem, please. And then you go back into the world of nature. But that's what Ramayel Friedman was saying. Reb Chashkel said that's why everybody's at war. They have to turn around. They have to remember the guy. The guy with the flag with his name on it. Remember, did you do this whenever we had wars and we send around names? I don't know if you've ever participated in that, but yeah. So whenever we've had wars here, so there's a sign-up sheet. Any soldier who wants you to daven for him, he gives his name in, or his mother gives a name, and then you just email or I forgot the name of the organization, but we haven't had it in a long time. Then you get a name, and you daven for that name until the mother calls you back and says he's home. He's okay, thank you. So Hashem is always listening for us. Pnei Hashem be'osei ra. And what is Hashem doing? Now this is very interesting passage. Hashem's face is always facing those people who do bad. L'hachris me'eretz zichram, to cut their memory out of existence. What does that mean? So when it says, if you remember the Birkas Kohanim, right? So Birkas Kohanim here in Eretz Yisrael, they duchen, they bless them every day, and women who go to Shul Shabbos every Shabbos. So what's the blessing? God should bless you and keep you. Hashem should illuminate His face towards you and be kind. Hashem should lift His face towards you and give you shalom. So in the second and the third psukim of that bracha, we talk about Hashem's face. What does it mean? Hashem doesn't have any physicality. We know that. And when we say Hashem's face, it means Hashem is turning towards us. Hashem's countenance. Hashem is, like we feel Him in our life. Also, the word face means the pnimius. Panim means pnimius, the essence of. So here, look at this. Pnei Hashem, you would have thought it says Pnei Hashem elat tzadikim, and it does. There's psukim that say that. But here it says Pnei Hashem be'osei ra. Hashem's face is looking towards those who do bad. Why do you think? Because Hashem wants them also to do teshuvah. Hashem wants everybody to do teshuvah. He's actually sticking His face in front of an evil person, trying to help that evil person do teshuvah. Hashem's face means Hashem's presence. Could you imagine? We have to work very hard to get Hashem's presence in our life sometimes. But at Russia, Hashem says, listen, this guy's in bad shape. I got to get him. I got to help him. So I'll show him my face. Maybe it'll help. But in the end, if they don't do tshuva, then Hashem has to keep the world fair. As you know, Hashem gives chances and chances. We come back again and again. Now, the concept of reincarnation is very much a universally accepted concept in the world of people who think about souls. In the world of people who are evil and who think about bad things, maybe not so much. Even though Saddam Hussein, Yimach Shemo, said publicly many times that he considers himself a reincarnation of Nebuchadnezzar. And he wanted to make Iraq Babylon, right? He wanted to make Babylon a world power again, to destroy, to take over the world. So much for him. But he believed in reincarnations. I'm not going to say who because I don't want to say, but there's a certain person, a certain president in a certain country that I used to call where I came from, that when I first saw that person's face, I said, he looks like Pharaoh, like Pharaoh. Looks like Pharaoh, like, ooh. People come back, then they get messed up, and then they get what they get. Tzaku Hashem Shameya, so scream out. Hashem will hear you. We called Sarasan Hisila, and Hashem saved us from all of our suffering. We called out to Hashem, He heard, and He saved us. That's a great pasuk. So then when you do it, when you call out to Hashem, say this pasuk, say Hashem, the pasuk says, that when I call out to you, you're going to hear and you're going to save me. So here I'm saying the pasuk and I'm calling out to you, I'm crying out to you, Hashem. And by the way, crying out doesn't have to be with a scream. You don't have so much space in England to go and if you go to a park, if you go to the park, what are those parks called? Kensington Park, all of those palace parks, yeah? You go there, start screaming out, help, Hashem, they're going to arrest you. Here in Eretz Yisrael, nobody will arrest you. Everybody knows. You should know that. Even secular people know that. There's no such thing as a secular. I don't like to say secular Jews is secular, but even Jews who don't think that they're connected, if they go to a park and they see somebody davening, they don't think it's weird. They know the person's davening. So scream out to Hashem. Now you don't have to scream with a lot of noise. Rabbi Nachman says you can have something called a silent scream. A silent scream. That might be an oxymoron, right? Silence is no, and scream is loud, right? A silent scream means when you're so deeply connecting in a meditative state to God, and you're so into you just go into yourself. You don't need to exhibit. You don't need to emote out loud. You can sometimes go very, very deeply and scream from the depths of your being without anybody else hearing you. That's called a silent scream. It's very, very real. It's very powerful. So scream out any way that you call screaming, whatever. If you want to do it with a loud voice, you want to do it with a quiet voice, and ask Hashem to help us from sarot, from our mitzrayim, from the things that are limiting us. Make a deal with Hashem. Say, Hashem, if you help me, I'll help others. If you help me, I'll help others with this exact same thing. Because then I'll know that you could be helped with this exact same situation. And I'll give them hope. Hashem is close to all the brokenhearted. You know this pasuk sounds like the pasuk in Ashrei. Karov Hashem l'chol korav. Right? L'chol asher yigru be'emes. So in Ashrei, it says Hashem is close to all those people who call out to him truthfully. So you might say, maybe that's limiting, because maybe I don't call out to Hashem truthfully. Maybe I have a vested interest. So here you get a blank, here it's easier. Karov Hashem, l'nishberei lev. Hashem is close to anybody who's brokenhearted. V'estakei ruach yoshia. Hashem helps those people who are lowly of spirit, whose spirit is just, fizzling out. When you feel like you have no more breath left. Doesn't mean chas Hashem you're dying. It means you're going through something that's hard. Rabbi Nachman from Rebbetzin says, again, what does it mean to be brokenhearted? He says, how do you know the difference between brokenhearted and sad? No place in Tehillim, and well, there's actually one place, that talks about that Hashem is going to help you with your sad. A little bit there it does. Whatever. But mostly it's brokenhearted. Rochel, we learned that a few prakim ago. Hashem heals the brokenhearted. So Rabbi Nachman says, what's a brokenhearted different than sad? He said, brokenhearted, I'll say it the other way. Sad depletes your strength. Brokenhearted pushes you to daven more. Sad leads to lethargy, leads to laziness, leads to lack of motion, leads to, couch potato, whatever, brokenhearted leads to tears, tears leads to prayer. So it's good to be brokenhearted, meaning as long as you're able to funnel the emotions upward and not that they pull you downward. What does the Kotzker Rebbe say? This is a famous one. You see this on all the social media, people who want to do from religious. There's nothing as whole as a broken heart. That's what the Kotzker Rebbe says. There's nothing as whole as a broken heart. I saw a very beautiful poem today that when I first saw it, I wasn't quite sure how I reacted to it. You know what? I'm going to read it to you. Let me see if I can find it. Oh no, I don't even know where I saw it. Let's see if I can find it. In 2 seconds, I'll read it to you. If not, I won't. Let's see if Hashem wants me to read it to you. Let's see. Yeah. No. Yeah, look at that. I'm telling you, so many people send me so many things, and I don't remember. So I just found it. If I just found it, I'm going to read it to you. This is a poem written by someone, I don't know who it is. It's called Yisrael Motzin. Okay, I'm going to read this to you. It was very moving to me. Okay, ready? How long can I beg him to take me home when all I need to do is buy a ticket? How long can I beg him to rebuild Yerushalayim when a new development sprouts every week? How long can I beg him to see with my eyes when all I have to do is open them? My hypocrisy chips away until my soul is calloused. My prayers become more superficial by the day. My dreams more faint. My heart is in the east, I think. At least that's where I saw her last. So I fly on eagle's wings to where I belong. I take in the sights, the sounds, and the smells of my beloved city until she overwhelms my senses. I caress the stones, kiss the walls. I am infatuated by her beauty. But in those narrow streets, I seem to lose sight of you, Hashem. In the roar of Torah learning and the heady spirituality, my soul is deaf to your loneliness, Hashem. In the heart of Yerushalayim, I am forgotten. I am home, but you're not here. My heart is not in the east. My heart is with you. Please come home. Please come home. Talking to Hashem. Please come home. I was very touched by that. First, I was horrified. Like, what do you mean? Everybody should come home physically. But then I realized it's true. Even here in Yerushalayim Kodesh, we're in Galus. Hashem has trespassers in his house. Okay, he let them in, he let them in. I don't know how I would send it. I'll try, I'll figure it out. I don't know how to take those kind of snapshots. I'll figure it out. Sometimes I tell my phone, take a screenshot. But then by the time I push the right button to tell it to take a screenshot, it takes a screenshot of something else because I'll figure it out. Bezrat Hashem. Anyway, there are trespassers in Hashem's house. And it's true Hashem let them in, and he had a reason for that. But we now have to say they have to leave. The lease is up. The contract is over. They have no more rights to be there. We have to say that. We have to feel that. Because when they leave, then Hashem's presence comes back to Yerushalayim. Okay, it's true, it says that Hashem's presence never left the kotel. It's true. But when we see what Hashem's presence is really like, we're not going to believe that we were satisfied with whatever it is that we felt at the kotel now. So Karam Hashem l'nishbarei lev, we are all heartbroken. We're heartbroken because the world is broken. And Hashem is close to us because he's also heartbroken. And I know it sounds so counterintuitive because Hashem doesn't need anything. But the way that the Baal Shem HaKadosh taught us is that when the Baal Shem HaKadosh began to teach Kabbalah, he explained that Hashem is, we can't understand what Hashem is, but Hashem allows us, our Creator allows us. He manifests to us in ways that he wants us to relate to him. So right now, Hashem is relating to us and saying to us, he misses us. And even when we're here, he misses us because he's not here yet, 100%, in the intensity that he wants to be. So Hashem is also brokenhearted on a certain level. He's brokenhearted that 91% of his people don't know anything about Judaism. He's brokenhearted that there's so much evil in this world. And he doesn't want to destroy the world again. He promised he's not going to make a flood. He's brokenhearted that people who are holding on to Torah are being oppressed. I don't want to talk about the latest decree that the Israeli government has made against the religious families that have beautiful children and have black children. You can all look it up yourself. Rabos Raos Tzaddik. Tzaddikim sometimes have a lot of problems, but in the end, Umikulam Yasalenu Hashem, Hashem is going to save them from every one of the problems. Every problem that a tzaddik has is only an interruption. It's only something that Hashem says is going to earn you points. Rabos Raos Tzaddik. Sometimes tzaddikim go through difficult things, and again, since Amech Kulam Tzaddikim, all Jews are in the category of tzaddikim. So we go through stuff, but Hashem will save us. That's Bitachon 101. Trust in Hashem 101. We just have to keep trusting in Him. That it's going to be okay. And that as confusing as things look, it's going to be okay. You know that, again, the Medrash tells us, and the Gemara says, and the Zohar talks about this a lot, not that I know Zohar, but I hear Shiurim, that the final redemption will be like the first redemption. I'm going to show you miracles like when you came out of Mitzrayim. And Moshe Goel Rishon, Moshe Goel Acharon. Moshe Rabbeinu was the first redeemer, he'll be the final redeemer. So imagine the confusion that the Jewish people had. When Moshe Rabbeinu comes back to the land of Mitzrayim, after disappearing for decades, he comes back. He says to them, I am Mashiach, and I'm going to get you out of here. We're going to go out of here. We're going to go get the Torah. We're going to go make a quick stop in the desert, get the Torah, pick up the Torah, and then run to Eretz Yisrael. And I'm Mashiach. That's what he says to them. And Serach, the daughter of Asher, was still alive, and she said, he's hit, because he said the code words, it's him. She was the elder of the entire Jewish nation. And she said, it's him. And he comes, he goes to Paro, he says, let my people go. And what happens? Paro says no. And Paro makes things harder. He makes the work and the she'ibah, the slavery, harder. He makes it almost impossible. He makes it unbearable. So what do you think the people thought? What do you think the Jews thought? That was a very confusing time. Like, wait a minute. You're Mashiach, right? So how come as soon as you came, things got worse? That was a very confusing time for us. And there were Jews who just said, I don't understand this, but I am hanging in there. I'm trusting God. I don't get it. This looks like Avram Avinu and the Akedah again. First Hashem says to Avram Avinu, our Zaydi Avram, says, you're going to have a child, from him is going to fix the whole world. And then before Yisro can get married and have kids, Hashem says, take him as an offering. So like, what is that? It's a big confusion. That's what tests do to us. They make us confused because it just doesn't make sense. Hashem says, it makes sense. You're going to see soon, but right now you can't. While you're taking the test, they don't show you the answers. Shomer Kos Mosav Achaf Mehenu L'Mishpar. Hashem is going to keep all of our bones together. He's not going to break any of our bones. Instead, Timoseis Rashara, instead the evil people will die. B'sonei Tzadik Yashamu, and those who hate righteousness, they're going to be finished. Hodeh Hashem Nefesh Avadam. I'm just doing quickly because we have to finish. Hodeh Hashem Nefesh Avadam. Hashem is going to redeem us. Here's the most important words. Everybody trusts him. We trust Hashem. Chosim. Chosim means we rely on him, we lean on him. Are not going to lose out, are not going to be disappointed. We who lean on Hashem, who trust him, who believe in him, we will not be harmed in any way. We'll make it. We will make it. We have to just keep trusting him. Right? Like the pasuk says, Kaveh el Hashem, hope to God. Chazak v'amisadecha, strengthen yourself. Kaveh el Hashem, hope to God. Why does it say it like that? Because probably in the middle of, you're hoping to God, you're hoping. You're trusting. Then there's a confusion. You have to be mechazek yourself, chazak and then Kaveh Hashem again. Until the end of the story is not the end of the story. So we're going through this for thousands of years. And everybody keeps asking, when is it going to be over already? When is Mashiach coming already? When are we going to stop with all of this national pain? When? And Hashem says, now. Amen. Hashem should say right now. We saw that beautiful picture of it's like a semi-tragic, I guess it's tragic. So you know that in Miami, they stopped helping for survivors and now they're just going to get recovery. So the head of the Israeli division, who the first time they interviewed him, he was with a big keeper. Now he wears a helmet all the time. So he came out, he found Sfarim. He found intact Sfarim, holy books, Gemaras. You could see what the Sfarim are if you know how the bindings of certain Sfarim are. He found some Gemaras and some Sfarim intact. Could you imagine in that collapse where everything is now dust? And he had a whole pile, he carried that in his arms, a whole pile of Torah books, of Torah Sfarim in Hebrew. And someone took a picture of it. Hashem is sending us, really Hashem is sending us, He's sending us hopeful messages also, along with the challenges. There's also little messages of hope. I'm going to tell you, this is the third time I'm going to say this week, but I can't help but think that this is Hashem sent a funny message in the form of a picture of Joe Biden bowing down to Rebbetzin, Ravitz, right? From Beitar. He bowed down to her, a lady with a sheitel and dressed beautifully tzanua, because she told him she has 12 kids. She's a Rebbetzin. She's also a government. She works for the Israeli whatever. She's one of these very powerful women. But she's a Haredi, very Haredi, lives in Beitar. I think her husband's a mayor. I keep saying that. I have to verify that. I think that Fagel said, yeah. Anyway, he bowed down in front of her. He got down on a knee, bent his head. So when I first saw the picture, I thought, like, how foolish can this man get? Why doesn't someone just take care of him and just, like, I don't know, keep him away from photographers and keep him away from microphones? Like, I don't listen to the things, but whenever, what do people send me, or what do I hear are the silly things? Maybe he says a lot of things that are not silly, but whatever it was, when I saw this picture, I laughed. I said, like, oh. And twice, thank you, Donna. Twice, I couldn't look at it. And the third time, a different person sent it to me. I said, all right, maybe I should look at it and think about this. And the third time I realized that Hashem is sending us a message that Edom is indeed going to bow down to us. And he didn't bow down to some guy with 12 kids. He bowed down to the woman. The Shekhinah is compared to a woman. That means Edom's going to bow down to Hashem and acknowledge the Torah is right. The Jewish people are right. The Torah is right. Our way of life is correct. They're going to acknowledge us. That's Mashiach. So even though it happened in a funny way, but I just keep seeing Hashem smiling at us, so to speak, and saying, can you figure out my hints? I'm sending you hints. I know it's still a time of difficulty. It is. Nebuchadnezzar's funerals. But I'm sending in the difficulty hints. Little remazim. That things are, winding down. And we're waiting any second expectantly for the redemption. Now, how will you know? So you will know because your own mind will tell you. You will know because your own mind will tell you. So that's how you'll know. Okay, I have to figure out how to send this to you. I don't know how, I'll figure it out. All right, Chevra, listen. I'm only going to
just give us the message on the Lashon Hara.
Ah, okay. That's a little deep. He explained like this. Rav Kessin explained that he was talking about the spheros, right? The 10 spheros from Keser all the way down to Malchus. Keser and Chachma Bina, Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferes, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, and Malchus, the 10 spheres. And we're in the world of Malchus right now. The woman is Malchus, Knesset Yisrael, the Jewish people are Malchus. The world of Asiya is Malchus. And we're waiting for the influx of Mashiach. And so he explained it like this. He said, imagine the whole rain cycle, right? The ocean, right? The ocean, the air, the moisture from the ocean evaporates, collects in clouds. The clouds get heavy enough, there's precipitation, there's rain. The rainwater fills up the pools, right? The ocean water is salty. In that evaporation, precipitation, the salt goes out, goes into pools, goes into reservoirs, pipes. We've figured out how to make pipes. The pipes eventually go through the cities go through the streets come to your house, and you have a faucet, and you turn on the water, and you turn on the faucet. That whole system gives us water. Imagine that whole system is operational, except that there's a clog in the faucet. The faucet is clogged. So you could turn it on, but it's not, water's not going to come through because there's gook. I don't know if that's a British English word. There's stuff, there's like junk, there's garbage. There's a blockage in the faucet, in the pipes. And because there's a blockage in the pipes, the water can't come down to you, even though it's there, but it just can't come down. You got to clean out the pipes. So he explained that the pipe is called Yesod of all the sefirot. All the sefirot, the different energies of the sefirot, Keser, and Chacham, Bina, etc. That's like the whole system of bringing us energy. What's the actual pipe that brings the energy into us is Yesod. And what are we? We are called Malchus, right? If you put a cup underneath the water, underneath the faucet, you want the water to come into the cup. The cup, the vessel, the receiver is Malchus. So Yesod, that's clogged. That's where he says the clog is. All the other spheres are open and pouring into, except by Yesod, there's a clog. What is the primary mitzvah of Yesod? Well, one of the primary mitzvahs of Yesod is the mouth, is purity of the mouth. As long as we have purity of the mouth, then the blessings come into our life because there's no blockage in that pipe. Because our mouth is also a pipe, a communication device. Once there's a blockage in the pipe, the blessings don't come through. So that's what he says is happening right now. Also, by the way, he didn't mention this, but also relationships and modesty and dressing properly. That's also one of the major mitzvahs of Yesod, because Yesod is Yosef Mitzvah. It's a big topic. But basically, to clear out the Yesod, we need to clean our mouth and keep ourselves dignified and holy. And that's why he's screaming, tell everybody that you know, if you want Mashiach to come faster, be careful with what you say. Be careful with what you write. Be careful with what you listen to. Be careful with what you hear. Be careful not to believe anything. You can take with a grain of salt, but be careful not to totally believe anything negative about another Jew. Unless the Jew is a public evil, There's all you have to learn the laws of Shmiras Halashon. You should all sign up for the, 2 halachas a day in your email. Sit with your cup of coffee in the morning, read these 2 halachas. It takes 2 minutes. That's what he said. He said, somebody asked him this year, what can we do to bring Mashiach closer? He said, Shmiras Halashon. That's what he said. That is it. That's what he thinks is it. Okay, so listen, I'm going to take a couple of weeks off. I'm going to miss you. But I need, in order for me to keep doing this, I need to take a couple of weeks off. So, Rebbetzin is going to
what happens if we're forgiving? Can we daven for our brachas?
Yeah, you can. You totally can. Rebbetzin Devil, I'll probably after 3 weeks, I'm going to get bored and I'm going to have to come back and teach. But I need to stop talking for a while. So next week, and then we'll have, so you should have, it should be a Yom Tov Tisha B'Av.
Amen.
Tisha B'Av is a date. So we're going to have Tisha B'Av. It's a date. It's the 9th of Av, right? We're going to have that day. We hope to live to the month of, but we hope it's a Yontif. We know it's a Yontif. We just hope we'll celebrate it this year. And Be'ezrat Hashem, one of the ladies reached out to make an initiative. Maybe I'll be sending out some voice audios, 5 or 10 minutes like I used to do. Just keep us all connected.
Right. Thank you, Rebbetzin Silber, always for just continuing to inspire us. And just if everybody, I'm going to send out a post again about a Yes We Can. And Baruch Hashem, we've had lots and lots of people sending in their daily activities of Avas Yisrael and V'ahavta L'orecha Kamocha. And together with that, we can, Emetz Hashem, we're going to be part of the clearing of that pipe and get rid of some of the garbage at least. And as a Hashem, we should just be able to have the clarity and the blessing and the bracha that comes through from that beautiful holy waters, which started right from the beginning of creation. And I just wanted to take the opportunity to thank Rebbetzin Silber for just really, we call it continuous inspiration. And it really is. It is just continuous inspiration and just drawing from all sides. So thank you. And we look very forward to being in person very soon with you in Yerushalayim, and looking forward to seeing everybody together as a Hashem in person. And thank you. And just have a good rest.
I don't know if I'll rest, but that's Rat Hashem. We should all be mazel. Should be with mazel.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
It's from the speaking, and we never rest, right? We're not allowed. We don't rest. We continue.
Shabbos we rest. Thank you for putting your faces on. It's good to see you guys.
Thank you, Mazel Tov.
Amen. Mazel tov. Mazel tov. Thank you. Amen.
Thank you, Mazel
Thank
Tov.
you so much.
Shabbos.
Mazel tov. Mazel
Mazel
tov.
Tov.
Many
Thank
Good
you.
Shabbos, Mazel
Thank
Tov.
you.
Thank
Everybody.
you.
Thank you
Thank
all
you
for
so much.
joining.
Mazel Tov.
And Marcel, Chaim, Aruchim, and Refuahs and Yeshuas for all of Klal Yisrael.
Amen.
Amen.